Hey everybody, it's me again. Good to see you. Well, it's another freebie day. Just needed to tell you how awesome it is to build community in the place that you live, in the area that you live. It's good to know your neighbors. It's good to get to know the people that are around you, see your skill set, see what ways that you can work together because when times get hard and when things hit the fan, you need to know who you can rely on or who you can work with so that all needs are met and not just some. My neighbor and I, we often go back and forth. If she is shopping or I am shopping, and if it's like a 2-for-1 deal or whatever, it's like, hey, do you like this or that or whatever? My cat's scratching, and so we tend to share back and forth. And today, she sends me a text message. Would you like some kale? Sure, I'd like some kale. She's like, well, how much do you want? I said, how much can I get? Turns out she was able to get some produce. And, we tend to get a lot of the produce stuff either on the cheap or else free. Free is always good. Free 99. Not 3.99, but free 99. Meaning that it doesn't cost anything. Usually like it's an overstock or whatever, and either a store has to get rid of stuff or farmers or have a lot and they're not able to get rid of it all at the time that they're scheduling their market times or whatever, and so they just give it away. Or like those awesome groups that I've talked to you about before, Bites and Bikes and Sisters Camelot, or there's CES and all these other all kinds of different organizations or groups out there that are willing to help by giving away stuff. And and what's so awesome is that when we get a lot of stuff, because I live in a brownstone association, condo association. It's like 3 brownstone brick buildings side by side, and it's like, hey, you like this? Here you go. You like this? Here you go. And this is for you, and this is for you, and this is for you. And it makes it pretty awesome. It's not like we're all getting new cars or anything, but food is essential, especially now with the way things are going on in the country right now. Um, Food is really important. Food prices are going up, product delivery is going down, and the things that are getting through tend to cost a lot more. And as you probably get tired of hearing me say, I like to be like that worker ant to stock up what I need for the future. So whatever I can get from the farmers market or from one of these free markets or whatever, and I can put aside, especially if people are just like, nope, I don't want this. Nope, I don't want that. Okay, you don't want it. I'll take it because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do some canning. I will do some food dehydration, and some of it will be frozen, and then the rest of it, I'm going to get down and eat that or find other people in the neighborhood to share with. But let me show you what I got in this huge box that you just saw me grab. Some organic kale. I think they were giving these away because it's like down to the last date on there. So that means I will be getting busy tonight taking care of these and getting these things processed so that they can be stored up so that it doesn't go to waste. More kale. Lots of kale. Lots of kale. And even more kale. But I'm not going to go through all the bags of kale that are here. Kohlrabi. It looks kind of weird, but you slice this up and you fry it, and it is really delicious. Um, what else do I have? Lots of these little bitty teeny weeny, I don't know what you call them. It's the color of an orange, but it's not really a tangerine. It's not really a tangelo. I don't know if it's even a cutie. I don't know, but it's really cute. So I will be using these because I can take this and cook it down and do some preserving. Um, and two kohlrabi. There's another one in here. Couple of bags of bok choy, and as much as I love to do my little stir frying and stuff, yes, I am going to enjoy that. Oh, and I forgot something. Excuse my reach. Sorry about that. That's kind of rude. But at work today, my boss grows rhubarb in her yard, but she's not like doing a lot of rhubarb cooking or whatever. She's like, "Would you like some rhubarb?" Yes, yes, I would. And I'll be washing that and chop it up, and I'm going to be preparing that and making a nice rhubarb crisp with this. Yum. And I don't know, did I talk to you since the other day when I got 5 bunches of collard greens? So of course, I cooked down 2 bunches of them, and threw in some peppers because I like it a little bit spicy, give it a little flavor. And I've got those in jars, in mason jars. So those are already canned, but I still got 3 more bunches of those to do. So hope you'll join me for some of those videos. But because I have all this right now, I'm going to be washing and putting some of this kale on my food dehydrator. Wash it, pat it dry a little bit, paper towel. Put a little bit of olive oil on my hands, rub it over the top of the kale, and spread it out on the layers on the trays of the food dehydrator. And I can sprinkle just a teeny bit of salt if I want to. Don't have to, but I can if I want to make it like kale chips, because when it dries out, it is delicious. And you can eat it as plain kale chips, or you can take and store it in these Ziploc bags. And if you're going to make some collard greens or something else, you just take a handful of that, toss it in with those greens, toss in a little bit frozen or dehydrated onion. And, if you got a neck bone, you can put that in there. You got a little bit of meat or whatever, you can put it in there. If you don't want any meat, you don't have to put any meat in there. But I guarantee you it will taste awesome. So I've got all this stuff to work with because, like I said, I'm like the worker ant preparing for the winter. If you watch me any amount of time, you probably know that I'm not that crazy about going out in the stores and shopping unless I can get in and get out as quickly as possible anyway. So in the winter, here where I live in the Midwest, it's cold and snowy. I'm not trying to be slip sliding out anywhere, but I like the taste of fresh. And yes, even if you dehydrate this, if you do it properly, you can reconstitute it when the cold weather comes, and it has that flavor. So that's what I like to do. Or in the event of an emergency, think about that. Power goes out. Funny little story. This morning, I got up and the lights were like whoop whoop, and I thought, okay, that's a little weird. And then it did it again. Whoop whoop. And it's like, all righty. Well, I'm glad that I have my power generator because if the lights go out, the generator's going on. You better believe that. Because you got to cover all your bases because we don't know what's going to happen. We see the power going out in North Carolina. We see power going out in Texas. We see all this stuff going on everywhere else. That's why we got to be prepared. And that's partly why I like to dehydrate food. Yes, I have a freezer. And yes, I have vegetables in my freezer. But I really like to dehydrate food because if the power goes out, I'm either going to be having an eating fest with all that stuff in the freezer or stuff is going to go bad. So I'm going to be busy with all of this tonight. It's going to be really fun doing the rhubarb and the fruit, which I don't know if I'll do that tonight or maybe tomorrow night. Um, but I think that the kale is probably the higher priority to get as much of this kale dehydrated so it can get put away. I can put it on the food dehydrator. I have 6 or 7 trays and get as much of that going tonight as I can possible. And you know, if it doesn't work out in the dehydrator itself, you can also dehydrate in the oven. I just prefer with the food dehydrator because you kind of set it and forget it, and you don't have to worry about things burning, but it will get dry and crisp like potato chips. But because it's in this packaging, part of the work is already done. It's triple washed and they say ready to use, and it's chopped up. I'm still going to wash it again anyway because that's just me. But wash it and do the salad spinner, to spin out that extra water, and let it dry out. So I gotta figure out where to put all this stuff while I get busy with this. And I'm gonna take some of them extra greens, cook them down. Those I definitely have to clean very well because all the dirt and stuff that ends up being in the greens. Clean them, chop them up, cook them down, and throw in a little vinegar and some onion and a little bit of the peppers with my greens because I like my greens to have some flavor. Not everything has to be bland, especially your vegetables. You got to enjoy your vegetables. And if we eat healthier foods and eat the right stuff, we'll start to see our health improving, which is what has happened for me, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm hoping that you're joining me on this health journey. And if you're not joining me for that, thank you for at least joining me for this video. And I hope that you'll stay tuned and continue to watch things as they go. I don't know if you saw my previous video that I did this morning of the garden area that I used to be a part of a garden club, and we would tend to the garden, but with everything that's happened the past year, everyone was shut in. We weren't able to do anything. In the area where the garden is was sold to someone else, but they said, hey, you can come plant your stuff. But yeah, we're going to plant our stuff, and when will we have an opportunity to go out and do the work and cultivate everything? So I hope that you checked out that earlier video. You can see the beauty of the vibrant colors that are out there, and that there is some produce. There's mostly flowers, but it makes such a big difference when you're working in community with a bunch of other people and you're all working together to get those weeds pulled out of there, keep everything nice and cleaned up, especially with having a lingonberry tree and having a mulberry tree. There was even 9 raspberry bushes over there. But I won't go on and on too long because I want to get busy with all this. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're finding some good deals out there somewhere. Check out places like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Aldi's, places like that. Check and see the Best Buy date on the packaging, because if it's getting close to that date, chances are they're going to lower the price of the stuff, or else they're just going to be giving it away. Sometimes they'll just take it to a free store somewhere and just be like, here, We need to move this out of the way so we can put the new produce in. And if they do that, it's a win-win. You get it for free, and you just have to pick through and clean and make sure that everything's all good. If they charge you, price is probably going to be a lot lower because it's close to that date. So either way, it can be a win-win. But look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care and have a good evening.